Hey, Carrie. So it looked like you wanted some help with drawing a schematic of the tilt sensor that will trigger the buzzer and then the distance sensor that will trigger the servo motor to open the door. So I'll show you those on the same Arduino board. Let's go to the search bar here on circuitdiagram.org editor and type Arduino. We'll get an Uno, just simply click and then click in the center of the board to place it. The next thing we want is a buzzer. If I click buzzer, it'll be selected, and I'll put it somewhere over here to start. You can always move it, and the easy way to select is just to press V, and then it'll allow you to move and select. But right now I just want to wire it. So let me start by wiring it directly from a digital pin. So let's go from D2 into it. And from there we can go to the ground. And that's really all that this requires, not much more than that. The tilt sensor that you're going to want to use is also from a digital pin. And so the way that that's wired, and again, it might not look so great, that tilt sensor comes from a ground. So we can say that that's coming from the ground. Tilt sensor, I don't think it has it, so we're just going to use a resistor. And we're going to place it, oops. All right, so we're going to place the resistor here. And all right, in this resistor, I want to change the resistance. I'm going to show the text, and the text is just going to say tilt sensor. And I do kind of want to rotate it. And then I'll move it here. The tilt sensor both needs to drop into a digital pin, and it obviously also needs, I believe, a 10 kilo ohm resistor. And so let's get a resistor. Again, the US resistor is the one that you want to use. All right. So we'll wire it this way. And then we'll come with a wire back around to 5 volts. Okay. And then you wanted to go to a digital pin. But first, let me just fix this. This should be a 10 kilo ohm. Good. And we want to drop a wire. Come from, let's just come from here. All right, and there we go. So that's the first part of your circuit, is the tilt sensor to the buzzer. And then you were looking to wire a distance sensor to the servo. The distance sensor is a little bit more complicated in that there are actually 4 pins. And so what I was trying to explain was that you want to take a regular resistor, because I think if I type in rangefinder, it doesn't have it. So let's go with the resistor. Again, let's sort of just place it here. I'm going to click V to select it, and then write that I want the text, and this is going to be a distance sensor. All right. And the distance sensor is going to both attach to 5 volts and the ground coming out of here. And so let me get that wired appropriately. So we're going to go with a wire from 5 volts And then we're going to go back to a ground. And we can come back around this way to go to the ground. Remember that the ground is just here, right? Just coming right out of there. And the distance sensor, it drops into 2 of these pins. And so this is like a little bit annoying just because we have to go all the way around. In fact, I might just choose to move this up a little bit, just so that we can more easily access. So I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to move this up. We'll extend the wire so it touches, and then we'll wire it here. So we want to wire to 2 of the digital sensors. So let's wire to 10. And you'll notice that like if we're not connecting there, it won't put a dot, so that's okay. And then I'm also going to wire to 13. So that's the distance sensor. Now the servo, it has 3 different components, meaning 3 different pins. And so to wire the servo, you'll have to go to a digital pin. So let me again, just because I don't think they have a servo motor. No, they do not. Instead, I'm just going to get a resistor again. I will, at this point, I'll just drop it down here. I'll rotate it. Oops. All right. Actually, I won't rotate it for now. Again, I'll just show the text and what I want it to say, which is that I want this to be a servo motor. And then the way we'll deal with this is we'll have the wiring coming to a digital pin. Again, remember this is an analog output, but it does still wire to a digital pin. Oops, kind of overshot that. Keep going up one more and then across. The second pin, or the final one, would actually then be grounded. It'll go to the negative, so it'll come around this way, back to the negative, just in the same manner that we have done before. All right. And then the final thing that we want to do is take this middle pin back to 5 volts. And to get to 5 volts, you can go around this way and come back to 5 volts like that. All right. So that's the servo motor with the 3 pins. This is the tilt sensor, this is the distance sensor, and this is obviously the buzzer. Oops. If I wanted to, I could just label the buzzer as well, but I will not do that right now. So hopefully this was helpful. Remember here that the junctions where the current actually does flow are labeled with this little dot, and anytime you have a wire that's just crossing over, it doesn't do that. I hope this was helpful, and please let me know if you have any other questions, Carrie. Thank you. To 1819.